Welcome back, viewers. Our focus continues to be on the conflict brewing in the Middle East. The Middle East is bracing for Israel's response to Iran's ballistic missile attack earlier this week. Meantime, Israel is continuing its heavy aerial bombardment and ground incursion in Lebanon. In the latest, the Israeli strikes in Beirut have targeted Hashem Safieddine, a potential successor of the late Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah. The Israeli Defense Forces have not yet commented on the strikes. Now, the Israel's military, however, has said it had hit Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters in Beirut as troops battled terrorists near the border and warplanes bombarded their strongholds around the country. The Israeli military vowed to continue striking Hezbollah targets in Beirut and southern Lebanon after launching fresh airstrikes in the Lebanese capital. As per the reports, the Israel has now launched 11 consecutive strikes in Beirut. This attempted assassination is the latest effort by Israel to systematically eliminate Hezbollah's leadership following their invasion of the southern Lebanon. All right, joining me at this point of time is my guest Arvind Tejawat, who's a international affairs expert. I appreciate you speaking to NewsX, sir, and thank you for giving us your time. At this given point of time, in fact, there are developments that we are tracking very closely about the conflict, which we have been, in fact, tracking the details. In this given view, now targeting the bases and also a potential successor to the late Hezbollah chief, what message does this signal at is what I want to understand from you first.
The Israel has banned the UN Secretary, the Guterres. So it shows that Israel is not having a minimum respect for the international agencies. And I suppose the Israel, with the support of United States, will achieve his goals, what he decided in the beginning of the war. So Israel is having a long strategy because the few days back when he blast in the mobile and pagers and some other walkie-talkies and these electronic devices. So it shows that Israel is having a long planning to for his own sustain. So here the solution is only what the India suggested, that both the parties should come together and speak about. But I suppose at the moment the Israel is not feeling so. So maybe the later on when he will kill all the senior leaders of the Hezbollah, then after probably he may come over a table and he may talk about what I believe. Yeah.
All right. I believe my other guest, Major Sudhakar General Ji, is in fact also, Major General Sudhakar Ji is also joining me on the broadcast, I believe. If you can hear me clearly, I guess you are through with us.
Yes, Simran, good morning.
Yes, very good morning to you, sir. And in fact, the developments that we are looking at very closely and the world is watching, as there are in
take the mind of our viewers back to one remark in Netanyahu's speech in the United Nations General Assembly meeting, the latest one. He said there are two enemies he's fighting against. One is the terrorist, the second is Iran with the nuclear bomb. If you recall, it may be words to the effect, it may not be a verbatim reproduction of what he said. So given that fact, the Netanyahu in him, whatever little neuro-linguistic programming I am qualified in or capable of, he is not going to let go his effort. He will carry on relentlessly, whether US supports or regardless, whether it supports or doesn't support. And why not? And why not? As a citizen of India, I personally feel terrorists have no place on this the face of the planet. So that is one point. Second point is the question which you are pointedly asking, is there any effort going on? Yes, there are a lot of efforts. Yesterday only the leadership of Iran has paid a visit to Qatar, and Qatar, there are, I think, all the foreign ministers or the senior representatives of GCC countries. This is unlike a traditional kind of a meeting, a representative coming, or very senior leadership coming from Iran to Qatar to request them to negotiate, to bring some kind of sanity and stop this war. So I haven't, in my lifetime, I haven't seen a kind of a meeting like this. Somebody coming from a Shia-dominated state to Qatar, requesting or pleading, telling them diplomacy and dialogue is the answer of the day, where the foreign ministers of all the 7 GCCs are there. So this is a very turning moment which is taking place. Qatar, for that matter, is playing its role. Second thing that is happening is behind the scene. As per my assessment, it is not there in open domain, Simran. China quietly, as you know, before 7th October 2023, China was onto its diplomatic exercise. It has got the conglomerates, the not breakaway faction, but the sub factions of Palestinian groups together. China is quietly trying to bring the Palestine. It is in favor of Palestine cause and wants to have a breakthrough between Palestine and Israel, parallel to something which is happening in Abraham Accord. Mind you, Abraham Accord was very close before 7th of October. It was 15-20 days time short of Abraham Accord being signed between Saudi Arabia and Israel. You would have seen the flags of both the nations being exchanged in 75 years of history of independent Israel for the first time. But that was not to happen because of some conspiracy, some movement which may not be correct on my part to divulge or disclose now. Dynamics, it's a narrative building which is going on, information warfare. But point that I wish to highlight is that China is also quietly playing a very significant diplomatic role to stop this mindless war. I personally feel, as a citizen of this universe or the planet, these kind of conflicts will not bring about finding a solution. Okay? But as a soldier, I feel that tit for tat, if they have killed so many people, it's not necessary that I have to kill all of them. But the fact of the matter, I need to actually very effectively carry out a policy of mowing the grass. The conceptual frame of the IDF or the Israeli leadership is whenever they're surrounded by forces inimical to the country, but the concept they follow right since its independence or recognition by the United Nations is you mow the grass. They keep mowing it. Whenever the grass grows up, again they keep mowing it and keep maintaining it. So that is the philosophy, the concept, and the pattern of operation that they are undertaking. So what next? The question that should come is that what next? Is the world prepared for it? I don't think the world is prepared for it. We are only doing lip service. Look at the statements of Joe Biden. The question which you highlighted a little while back, and it was coming in the screen. What does he say? So when you are asking a question with regard to will you stop or support Israel when they go for airstriking the oil rigs of Iran, or also the nuclear installation? For the oil rigs that he says we are discussing, he is non-committal. So what does it mean? It means that there is a tacit approval of the United States of America. This kind of approval, information warfare, will carry on till 5th of November, I suppose. And I don't know if it is actually going to have a telling favorable impact towards the victory of Democrats in the forthcoming election. I don't know. Trump may leverage the changing circumstances. He has already started highlighting the
Major General, do you also believe and are you also of that opinion, because you know the advantage of all the conflict that's in fact spiraling out in the Middle East is going to be at the US presidential race. You have mentioned it earlier when we have spoken a few days back as well, but with a fresh perspective. You know, a lot has happened. What I want to understand is the advantage can be given to the Republicans as well, because as you are also pointing it out, it has been mentioned over and again. And if the Democrats fail to even take a stand, which is in fact significantly helping this entire missile attack and the conflict decrease at this point of time, it is in fact going to be, I guess, advantageous for Republicans, or in fact going to influence the US presidential race elections as well.
Absolutely. Simran, that's bang on the point. I was also trying to highlight the same issue. For all you know, the way the things are going out of hand, it's spiraling out of hand. Let's not talk only about Israel and Iran. There are multiple factors, multiple stakeholders. So far, we are talking about 3H, Houthis, Hezbollahs, and Hamas. There are so many Iraqi militia. Yesterday, I think your channel only, NewsX, somebody listed out the number of militias or the militant groups. There are almost about 15, 20 of them, totaling a figure of 55,000. All around, in support, being backed by Iran. So what am I trying to say is that it is gradually going to flare up. It will spiral out of control. It is spiraling. Syria is getting ready to give a good knockdown punch to Israel. It has got a common border with Lebanon as also this. Look at the ground offensive, which has happened, which is happening now across the blue line. The IDF is already there. So likewise, my take on the whole issue is that it is definitely going to get out of hand if we do not make meaningful substantive intervention. So what is it? There is only one person. You see, we are surviving today the architecture of global peace and harmony, or some kind of sanity of rules-based international order is existing. But there is only one man who can make a difference, that is Donald Trump. He is the man saying that the war is getting out of hand. Neither Biden knows what is happening, nor Kamala Harris. So he's right, large an extent. So therefore, is it going to make a swing in favor of Republic? My answer is yes. These are the common things. Who wants a war today in the world after the pandemic, after the losses, the supply chain disruption, the price rise in fuel, fertilizer, and the food? And look at the Red Sea, what is happening? The Houthis are knocking, picking and choosing and knocking down the ships. So day is not far when 2 ships of American frigates have already been attacked a couple of days back. Their bases are being addressed by the non-state actors of Iran, or maybe Syria, or maybe the supporting kind of resources of alliances. The day is not far when American assets will be drawn in. Iran is dead against any outside forces to participate in this conflict, because they also don't want to go against America or the Western alliances. They want to chit maximum between Israel and that of Iran. But it is not, everything is not ideal the way we are discussing. There are people all around the Middle East, from Persian Gulf to that's a Strait of Hormuz se leke, you go around the Red Sea, Suez Canal towards the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. There are so much of resources which have come, so much so that today, as you and me are talking, I'll not actually relate it to what the build-up in the Middle East, but the Indian naval ships, 3 of them, are already at Chabahar. They're carrying out joint exercises to validate the interoperability with the Iran Navy, and likewise, the kind of drills and procedures which generally you do with a like-minded nation. So that kind of, the diplomatic effort is also going on between the countries, the south of the line of Persian Gulf. That is, India is deeply involved in, also is mindful of the fact that anything that happens in Iran will have a spiraling impact towards Pakistan, and it will spill over to India. So we are doing good. We are perfect. But the fact of the matter is that unless Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and people who matter, the deep state, particularly in America, make a very sincere attempt to stop this war, wherever it is, the thing will go out of hand. Back to you, Simran.
All right, Major General Sudhakar Ji and my other guest, Arvind Tejawat, thank you for speaking to NewsX and giving us your time as far as the conflicts now brewing in the Middle East is concerned and tensions continue to escalate. Now, viewers, shifting our focus to